but I would be proud to partake in your pecan pie. There is too much paprikash in my potato salad. Aaron Air Out 41.
When there's stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, I don't have my pop filter for all those peas I was just peppering you with. What's going on, ladies and folks? This might be the fastest turnaround I have to do on a podcast. It's Monday at 3:45, and I think this thing's got to come out, I think by 6. I'm giving blood at 6:45, so I got to just jam this out flawlessly, essentially, in the next 2 hours, which is going to be tough. I think the Easter episode might have been the most rushed one, because I did that like Friday morning of the day I was supposed to release. I was releasing them at like 10 a.m. on Fridays. And that one, yeah, I was super rushed when I went back to Barry. But yeah, we were in a good boy. We were a naughty boy this weekend. We didn't get anything done. I literally said to Will yesterday morning, I'm like, Sundays, I like to just get my life in order and get shit done. And then we did nothing all Sunday because Will stayed the whole time. Oh boy. But I tell you, we got this is going to be an interesting podcast because I had got no idea what I'm going to go off of today. As usual, though, I feel like I started a lot of podcasts that way, saying I got no idea what's going to happen. And then usually just some spur of the moment, my brain will go off on some tangent. That usually tends to work out. So we'll see. We'll see about that. What can we get into first, though? It's tough. It's tough to know. I've got a bunch of paper towels here. You guys want to see this? You want to see the extra consent we have gotten? This one. So that was the unnamed sister of Liam Calhoun has now given me consent to say her name, Allie Calhoun. Calhoun. Welcome to the podcast, Allie Calhoun. I'll explain Allie to you guys in a quick min. But we got 2 more consents this week, doubling up on consent every single week. We also got, I don't know if I should say your last name. Whatever. Unnamed coworker number 1 has now been granted the title of William Morgan Cullen. Morgan. Imagine having the middle name Morgan. Morgan. Captain Morgan over here. My middle name is James Gaw. I got 2 of them because I'm twice as handsome as people with one last middle name. Why do I keep saying last name? And Will, when he went above and beyond with his, I gotta say, honestly, first off, he provided me unconsensual consent. So, does that mean I forced him to consent to this? Because I didn't. Let the record show I did not force him. But I guess consent's consent, so I can just scratch that out, honestly, on this paper towel. But he also see that? It looks like he kissed it. It looks like there's like a red lipstick smear, but it's not that weird, guys. It's just his blood. So don't get any weird feelings out here that Will's giving me kissy napkins. It's just blood, you sickos. Yeah. And honestly, the problem is I did such a good job on the consensual name drops last week. I feel like I got compliments from both Marin and Liam. I've set the bar too high now, and now I'm panicking here about what I can say about Allie and Will. And I know they're listening. I know they're waiting for it. Right now, they're listening to this portion like, what's Aaron going to say about me? What's Aaron going to say? Well, William Morgan Cullen. What can I say about William Morgan Cullen? All you need to know about William Cullen is 2 words. Holocaust denier. He's not, though. Honestly, we never talked about it, though. So, you know what? It's a potential. No one's ever going to give me consent to be on this podcast again after I accused Liam of having a drug addiction. And now Will of not believing in the Holocaust. But Will was actually I talked about how Marion was a nut I had to crack. Will was actually, I think, the original nut I had to crack. I kind of all fits together. I told Allie the first time I was working with Allie. Allie is a very she's like the welcoming committee. I feel like at Westmount, like anytime there's like a new staff member that comes in, I feel like they pair them up with Allie. Then Allie just gives them the whole lowdown and gets all the details on them because she's like a chatty person, just opens up and she's easy to talk to, easy going. From the small town of Baden, which I guess is a real place. I didn't think so. I thought it was like some imaginary place like the Vatican or something. But no, she wasn't lying. Baden is a real place. No, it's a direction. One of the cardinal directions from Waterloo. I can't think right now. South, maybe? North? South? West? Southwest? Maybe? I don't know. I got a map of the world up here. And I cannot see Baden down there. So, I don't know. Baden is just outside of Waterloo, though. And I don't know why it's a key detail. That's the only information I know about Allie. She works at Westmount, and she's from Baden. And she has consented to be on a podcast. No, but she's on vacation right now. She's on a cruise ship. So crank those ACs, boys. Let's get some icebergs going at this cruise ship. Let's take her down. No, Aaron. Just sipping on a nice Zevia here too. 0 calories. Ethan picked these up. This is a cream soda. Here's a review. Tastes like a oddly flavored cream soda. It gets like it's the ambition of cream soda, which I admire, but it's just not a great execution. I'm also washing this down with a big old cookie right here that I picked up from the halfway house at lunchtime. Which man, I went with the halfway house with Marin, and she got 3 breakfast sandwiches. So I'm like, I have to get 3 breakfast sandwiches now too. Like I can't have her eating more than me in the lunchroom. That's kind of gonna like people are gonna have questions about that. So then I had to get 3 breakfast sandwiches. Keep in mind though, Marin's breakfast sandwiches don't have eggs on them. Mine do. So I ate more. I was just competing with Marin all day, honestly, and I don't know if I could say it's competing. More like I was just beating her all day. That sounds worse too. Beating her in the competitions was not physically abusing a coworker at work or outside of work. Yeah. So, but those 3 breakfast sandwiches were a terrible idea. I felt like absolute garbage. I barely finished the 3rd one. Didn't even get to my cookie at lunchtime. And then we were laying sod in the afternoon. And I tell you, 3 breakfast sandwiches sitting in your belly when you're laying sod. I also somehow, like, very early on in the sod laying process, like, pulled a muscle in my quad. Just, like, gently kicking the sod roll to roll it out. My quad just seized up, and it's still super tight to this very moment. That I might not be able to do yoga tonight, which is tough because last night's yoga. Oh, jeez, man! I'll tell you about last night's yoga. Will was here, and sorry, Allie and other Will. I just completely walked all over your introductions, but I'll circle back. I'll circle back when I, think of a better tangent for you guys. Give you guys the credit you deserve. So as you know, Lightning McBreen was visiting. I guess I'm just gonna have to call my Will Breen, and then other work Will. Morgsy. You should just go by Morgan, Will, I know another William that goes by his middle name. His name's Reed, and he listens to the podcast, so you wouldn't be the first to switch it up. Just a suggestion. What was I saying before? Well, Leighton McBreen visited on Friday for his birthday, and it was a fun time. It was a very fun time. Friday, so first off, Will is notoriously late to everything. I think I've talked about this before. The guy, he lives in Mississauga, so he's got just like an hour and a half drive here. And last time he came up here, he had made plans with Klaus, that they were like going to go to the driving range at like 1 or 2 o'clock. I think Chris had like a swing lesson at 1 or something. They're going to meet at 2 and go to the driving range. And Will was like, yeah, no problem. I'm going to leave nice and early, beat traffic, and I'll be there for 2 o'clock. Will ended up arriving at 8 p.m. when was like the deadline of time that we gave him because we're going to go see Ethan's band that night. And I talked about that already. So Will showed up 6 hours late. So we're like, we can't have this happening again. So we knew we wanted to go mini putting. And we're looking around at what mini putting places there are. And I asked Will and Marin, and they said Max's Sport World, and I would say it's called pronounced Benjamins or Benjamins, and it's Bingamans. Binge mans. They say it's Bingamans. That's stupid. It's Waterloo has such weird Weber and Bingamans. Like they don't know what they're doing with their e's out here. So we went to Benjamin's, and we told Will that we had like reserved a tea time at Benjamin's. Like you got it, Will. We got a tea time at 3 o'clock for mini putt. You got to be here at 2. And it worked, because guess what, Will. He did tell us the same thing the night before. Like I'm gonna leave nice and early. Probably leave my house by like 10, maybe even before 10. Just right after the traffic's gone, I'm just gonna be there. And we get a message at 10 o'clock. Like Will's just like, just getting a few things ready, getting ready to go. And then by like noon, we send him a message like, hey, Will, have you left yet? And he's like, no, I'm just finishing up here. Just got a few more things to do. And I think he ended up leaving this house at like 1 o'clock or something. And he arrived at our place for like 2:30. And he's like, all right, well, I made it for the tea time, right? And I'm like, there was no tea time, Will. We lied to you to get you here. And he's like, that was a great idea, actually. That was a genius plan. And I'm glad I thought of it, because it worked. You just sometimes just gotta lie to your friends to get things to work out in your favor. You know? So yeah, that was Friday. He came up. We went mini putting at Benjamin's. Played the Country Lane. They had two golf courses. I picked Country Lane, obviously the street I grew up on. And the boys were playing really well. I was not. I'm a terrible putter, as you probably have heard. And I thought this would be like good practice for me, and I think it might have made me worse at putting, honestly. Hole 1, Ethan gets a hole in 1. Absolutely crazy. On hole 2, I had to take a drop. Like that's how bad my game was going. We also, I guess I should point out, we went to mini putt dressed in full golf garb, and also brought our own putters and our own balls. So we were looking very serious walking in. Everyone's got a bucket hat on and a nice collared t-shirt. The girls running the cashier did not know what to expect from us. They're like, hey, do you guys want balls? I'm like, no, we got Pro V1s we're here playing with. Like, are you crazy? And then they're like, hey, there's actually like at the end hole, it like goes into the tube and then it like collects the ball, so you can't keep it. So you might want to take one just in case. So we did we all grabbed the ball just for the 18th hole. And then, yeah, we just played for like an hour and a half mini putting. I think in total there was 4 hole-in-ones, and it was just 2 from Ethan, 2 from Klaus. Like they were both just dialed in. I didn't do anything. I went to the water. There was one water feature on hole 2, and I shot my Pro V1 into it. I was like, this is absurd if I can somehow lose a golf ball in a mini putt range. And you know what I did? On the 18th hole, I forgot to swap my ball out and just hit my Pro V1 right into that final hole. Lost it. And now I'm stuck with just a black mini golf ball in my golf bag that I can't use for anything. It's rock solid. So I did end up losing a Pro V1 on a mini golf course. So it was very similar to my usual. Actually, since it was only 1 ball, it was actually an improvement over my usual golf playing abilities. So I can't complain too much about that. And then after Benjamin's, we were going to go to the driving range to play with Chris's TrackMan to like hit some shots and see what numbers he can tell us. But we were just feeling. It was like really hot on Friday. It was like still like 35 degrees. When did we golf? We golfed for like around 3 or 4 o'clock. And it's completely stinking hot. No breeze whatsoever either. So like that hour and a half out in the sun golfing just took it out of me. I still worked Friday as well. Oh, we had a barbecue Friday too. Nice pulled pork. There's a lot more things that happened that I just don't remember. I've since I got back into smoking weed since like May 2-4 weekend, my memory has just been absolutely atrocious. Just terrible. Things just go in and out crazy. And I'm like known for my memory. If you guys don't know that, I'm just an encyclopedia of my life. Became his manager this weekend because I just remember details from Will's life that he doesn't remember, like what golf courses he's played, where he's gone on vacation, who he's hanging out with. Whenever he's like stumbling like through a story, I just like fill in for him and just let him know, where that story is going, what's happened before. But for my own life, I'm just a wreck. Just can't remember a single damn thing. Yeah, memory of a grizzly bear, as they say. So we did not end up going to the driving range because it was too hot, too tired. I ended up just going to McDonald's for a light snack, and that light snack turned into like 4 McDoubles, 2 chicken wraps, an ice cream cone, large drink, large fry. Just not a light snack. It was a full on McMuck. And then we went to Mary Hill to play 9 holes, and Ethan and I both shot 51, which my goal was to break 60. So always great. Ethan played really well. I played very poorly early on, then I kind of started figuring it out. Usually like 3 holes is my my limit. Once I get through 3 holes, I'm pretty dialed in. But that was a lot of fun. Maryhill's actually a beautiful course. This is it's like they got 3 nines there, and it's I guess like they're mostly par 3 and 4s. So it might be like there's 1 par 5 on one of the courses or something like that. I didn't look at too much in the details. I didn't book this because I don't book golf. I just get invited to golf. But a really well kept course. Yeah, really well managed. Beautiful course. Like we would definitely go back and play it like in the morning. We were gonna walk it, but since it was still so hot, we just we gave up on that. Which I wish we didn't, because I was very close to getting my 40,000 steps. I was like 38,988 or something by the end of the day, and I wish I got that last 1,000 steps. That would have been so sick to get 40K on that Friday. But there's gonna be other opportunities. I can just go for a walk one day and just get the 40K in. No problem. I still want to do that 100,000 steps too. I feel like that was going to be my my big return to the weekly wanders. Was going to be like start of summer, go out and do the 100,000 steps. I feel like that'd be like a video that's got potential to, get some eyes on it. That's kind of I don't think a lot of people have done the 100,000 steps thing. But yeah, just never got around to it. I don't think my phone could also record like 100,000 steps. It's going to take me 12 hours, I think, or something to do. And I don't think my phone has enough battery or storage to record like video all day. And then I probably want to listen to music and listen to podcasts like while I'm doing that. And I'm just going to listen to like Silence of the Road, So just a couple of logistical things that are going on there. All right, what was I saying? So Friday, I think we got Friday covered. We played Maryhill. Then we went home, ordered some shawarma. I think we got some shawarma, some Mosey shawarma. Got a couple shawarma poutines, and just watched some videos and smoked some weed, and the Nick was back. I will say that. The Salt Nick, the 20% we picked up like a month ago, last time I was here, that came out, and I tell you, it's a powerful device. That nicotine, once it gets into your brain, it does things to you that you just can't understand. You just go cross-eyed. I I think Saturday night, I guess I'm just all over the place here. I can't keep my mind straight. I hit a little Nick vape before I started this because I wanted to fire myself up, get the nicotine going. So I was like, I need some energy after work. Took a shower, and then I had to dive right on this podcast. But yeah, Saturday. We'll go through Saturday first, and I'll talk about the nicotine. Saturday, we started the day with a big hike. As you know, the days I don't work, we go for a hike Saturday mornings. So we went to the Woolwich Dam and Reservoir, which, if you haven't seen, I made a video on that back in like October, I think. I think it might have been. Is there a holiday that's not Thanksgiving in October? I definitely went on some holiday day. Maybe it was September or November. No, it was a nice day though. Did we even a warm November? I don't think so. So I don't know what day it was, but it was some holiday day. I went out there, and it was a nice walk. So I'm like, hey guys, why don't we can go walk back here again. You're close to water and trees the whole time because it's still hot again on Saturday. So we headed out there, did the full 8K loop they got around the reservoir there. Took us like just under 2 hours, like an hour and a half or something. And then after that, went to our favorite restaurant, Jack's. And just mucked. We were gonna go for breakfast, but then by this time we got there like 2 o'clock. Because we did kind of dilly-dally a bit. We had to get Chris back home, and we had to, getting the gears going in the morning, getting all 4 guys ready to go. It's tough. And like I said, Will is notoriously late. He's kind of he's a slow starter. Once he gets going though, he's fine. But he's a slow starter, and he had the audacity to tell us that he's so speedy today. He's like, yeah, that's the one thing I really say about myself is I'm very speedy. I'm like, there's no shot you're speedy. Well, you're the opposite. As you say, like a herd of turtles. Just he's not going anywhere quick. Yeah. So after the hike, went to Jack's, ate a ton of food, and then since we already got our steps in, we're like, okay, we can just be degenerates for the rest of the day. And then we just went home, and then just for the next. We went home and slept. This was a terrible podcast. I'm sorry. This is me just saying stuff and then like correcting myself because I'm not prepared for this. And I apologize for anyone who's listening to this right now because it's not up to the standard of air and air out that I know I've left before. And I know it's upsetting. I know it's upsetting. It's upsetting me too. We were on a streak of good podcasts, and this might break that streak. So anyways, yeah, we get home. We all went for a nap. We all slept till like from 3 to like 6:30. It was gonna be like a 15-minute nap, and everyone was just out for hours on end. And then we woke up and just went back to degeneracy for literally until Sunday night. And so Saturday night, we got the Nick vape and we got the THC vapes out. And I'm watching Will hit the Nick vape, and I realize on the screen there's like a timer for how long you're inhaling. And like immediately my brain's like, competition time, who can do the most? And it was just a competition between me and Will. Like Ethan he's not even close to on the board. I think I started off, we were probably doing like 1 second pulls, you know? That was like the average that everyone was doing, just a quick 1 second in and out, and that gets you pretty good. And then I was like, immediately I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work up to 2s. And then I got to the 2 second pulls so quickly. It took, I did like a 1.5, then a 2, and that was it. And then after the 2s, I really wanted to get to that 3, and 3 took a lot of work. It just slowly worked up from like 2, 2.2, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9, and then I finally hit a 3. And it crippled me. It was crippling me. Like you take a big inhale, and then immediately, like watching Will, it made me laugh so hard. And I'm just such a terrible influence too, because Will's like, I don't think I can do 2. I don't think I can do 2. But I was like, Will, you got to do 2 or you're a coward, you know? You got to get up there. You got to get these high numbers with me. And I just love the way he looks when he makes a big pull. And then he has to like set it down and like lean back in the chair. Just, oh man. It makes me laugh so hard seeing someone that uncomfortable. It's just, yeah, I'm a piece of work over here, but it makes me laugh. Like, stuff like that makes me laugh, and also people getting really angry makes me laugh. Like, I'm not a good person to get into like a heated argument with, because I usually will not get angry. I don't really have that dial in me, you know? Except for with my family. With my family, I find they get on my nerves somehow. I don't know why. But anyone else, I don't know if I've ever raised my voice to anyone outside of my family. Like, I don't even honk my car horn. I've honked my car horn once. Like, I just don't even touch it. And the only time I honked it was because I was driving to Angus, working for Westick at like, it's just like 5:15 in the morning, and a guy's just sitting at a green light going nowhere. And I gave him the lightest. I tried to push the horn as little as possible, just slowly adding more pressure until I can get a little excuse me, sir. Could you move out the green light, please? And that was the only time I honked my horn. And I felt bad about it. So now if someone's sitting on a green light, I just gotta, I guess I'm just waiting with you. I'm just gonna take it like a little bitch I am. Yeah, so I don't know. Why was I talking about that again? Oh, because people getting angry. Yeah, people getting really angry make me laugh. And it's seems to make them angrier when they're yelling and you're like, look at this silly goober out here. Look, you're turning red in his face. Look how angry he is over this parking spot. So, yeah. I don't know what else I did this weekend, honestly. We played Zombicide. I didn't do a podcast. I smoked a lot of nicotine. And then last night we were doing yoga, and I had a bunch of nicotine in me. And then I hit a couple big old hits of THC. And then I could not finish the yoga we were doing. It was a 45-minute like yoga for beginners. And just any head movement I had, my head felt like it was just rocking on a boat. Like, it just, you know that slow-mo eyes you get? Like when you're starting to get drunk and like you get that like motion blur, just that times 10. The world was spinning. I had to take a break in child's pose for like 10 minutes and just lie down and just fight off. Yeah, like I'm gonna puke, and you're like, I'm on all fours, just staring at the bathroom door, just internally like, okay, if I go to the bathroom, I'm going to puke. But I think if I can just stay here long enough, I can fight off this urge to puke. But there's also this gamble that I puke on my yoga mat. So I was just like frozen in this position while Ethan's doing yoga beside me, and I'm just like staring intently at the bathroom, wondering if I should go just puke and get it over with, or if I could fight it. And guess what? I fought it, because I'm just really good at getting high, and just, yeah. It was a very physically uncomfortable experience, but like mentally I wasn't, like I was probably like a 3.8 on the weed scale. And then like all the nicotine I'd been hitting for 12 hours that day, I swear, just like seemed to all just come pouring out of my brain. Like it was just, I was just inhaling it and it was just sitting up there in a cork. And then as soon as I hit, that was the first THC I hit all night, was at 10 o'clock. And it just came pouring back out, all the nicotine. And I was just cross-eyed, can't figure out, just walking around like a pirate on a ship, just wobbling around, can't do anything. And I'm trying to do yoga there and it was just miserable. I couldn't even stand in like standing in like an upright, like a volcano pose or mountain pose where you're just standing up straight, trying to like get good posture. My legs are like convulsing and shaking so much. None of my muscles could work. I could barely hold a lunge. I couldn't, like, for some reason I could barely hold these things, not because my muscles felt tired, but they were just shaking so much. And like, I'm like, I don't feel any pain and I'm not like exhausted, I'm not breathing heavily, but my legs just would not stop shaking. And like, I'm in like a low lunge, you know, I got 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and the front toe is just like violently shaking. And I had to like go on my tippy toes because of my calf. You know how people like bounce their leg, you know, when they're like antsy. Chris looking at you. It was like doing that just involuntarily, and I could not do anything in my power to like mentally like stop my leg from shaking. So I just had to like not do poses, and we were supposed to do a double dip of yoga, just could not do it. I got through the 45 minutes and then there's no way I was doing another 20 minutes. Just had to like sit and regroup mentally after that. So that was a tough way to end the weekend. Really, just inhaling way too many different types of drugs. Honestly, it's just nicotine and THC. So like I wonder how much with that salt nic is compared to like a cigarette, because I never smoked a cigarette in my life. So like, are you guys feeling that kind of buzz that I'm feeling after a 3.2 second pull on the 20 salt nic, or is that like just way more than any cigarette ever was? I don't know. All I do know is that I cannot purchase one of those nicotine vapes because I would just be sucking on the thing all day long. I would just you would never find me without it. Just constantly, every 10 seconds. There's actually a point like hanging out in our living room where every time someone was inhaling, I had to like look at them to see if they were vaping. My brain just started like just attributing inhalation with vaping. There's no more oxygen. It's purely vape in this house. And it was real smoky in our room too, in our living room, which like kind of fit the vibe we have going on here. I don't think anyone's really, since the house tour, we've really changed it up. But like we have like tapestries up on the walls. There's yoga mats everywhere. It's very much like a little hippie house we got going on here. We do acid. We have tapestries. We do yoga. We're very, very zen here. Very mellow. And then all that smoke from all the vape, it smelled like THC too. It smelled like weed. Yeah, it was just a degenerate weekend. I was thinking to myself, like midday Sunday, like we can't do this throughout the week too. We gotta get off the weed during Monday to Friday. Cause I've done nothing. Done nothing to have felt bad about it. Haven't played guitar in 5 weeks. Haven't read a book. Haven't read a page of a book. Haven't read a word in 5 weeks. Haven't painted in since June 3rd when I painted that Arby's, and that was 24 days ago. That's 3 weeks ago. Haven't done anything other than go to work and then record the podcast still, which is nice. But haven't uploaded YouTube videos. Haven't done anything. So starting to feel like I'm becoming too much of a degenerate again. You know, I'm using that word a lot lately. Descendant into degeneracy. That's a good podcast title. The descent into degeneracy. That's not bad. I'm glad we could get that naming out here. Oh boy, should I get back to these these consent forms? I don't know what's going on here. Allie Calhoun, I feel bad. Like Allie's on a cruise right now. It's like, I'm gonna tell a story about you on the podcast, and now I'm just drawing a blank, Allie. I'm just drawing a blank. Oh, what fun times have we had? Allie was goes to Taco Tuesday, and Allie is David's boyfriend, who I ate his taco, if you didn't know. Allie's Liam's brother. Allie is from Baden. Allie is very talkative. The lunchroom is actually very quiet. Allie is she's a key figure because Allie will start most of the conversations. And as you know, I am not a conversation starter. I'm a color commentator. So Allie starts the conversation. I add the flair to it. I add the pizzazz, the wow factor. And then, it all balances out. But you take away Allie, lunchroom was very quiet today. Very quiet. No one's No one's starting a conversation. People were saying when Lane saw that I'm supposed to start conversations and I'm supposed to take over that role. And that's not my role, people. You don't know. My role was never even the talking guy. I was never supposed to make jokes. I'm usually the quiet guy that just stays by himself, eats lunch in the corner by himself, doesn't do anything, just the little dweeb who like watches his YouTube videos, plays video games. That's my role. And now, since coming to Westman, I've had to take on this new role, this social butterfly, this guy that's just, bringing people together and chatting and making jokes. That's not what I'm supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be, people. Putting too much pressure on me. It is just strange that the guy that I just told you I don't like to talk, and then I have a podcast where I talk to myself for an hour every week. Crazy. Honestly, I might have to delay these coworker stories until I can actually think of something. Like the consent goes on beyond one episode. Like I have these. Liam, I still need your. Apparently he threw out his bloody name tag he wrote me because his Mima was upset with it. She threw it out. Yeah. Oh, I wrote some stuff down on my phone actually. I did write down a couple of topics. A couple things I wanted to talk about. Podcast topics. What do we have so far? Oh, I punched my fan. So, I don't know about you guys, but it's not uncommon for me to like wake up from being asleep. Not like being woke. To wake up from being asleep and then like still be in a dream, but be like in the real world, Like my head's still dreaming, but my body, I am awake and I'm like in my room. And like I've had situations where like I think there's snakes in my bed and I like run out of my bed, or I think there's something under my bed. I think there's a person in my room, and I always, in Barry, my move is always to like run to my light switch and turn it on. There's not as much room in here to run around in my bedroom here. So I woke up, this was Tuesday night, I think. I'm sleeping, no issues. And then I just abruptly wake up to, I don't know why. I don't remember the dream I was having, but I have my fan. You can see it right here in the video, actually. It's right beside my bed. It's like a foot from my face, and I put it on full blast. The rotation thingy doesn't work, so it's just a strong gust of wind right on my face all night long. And I wake up abruptly from my slumber, look at my fan, and just wind up and clock it with a full right hook, right in the button on the center of the thing. Send it across my room, which isn't very far. But yeah, woke up, clocked it, and then just like laid back in bed for a second, and then woke up and fully processed what just happened. Like, why did I just wake up and clock my fan across the room? And then I think I like knocked over my water bottle on my phone after. It's a very, very jarring wake up at like 12:30 at night. And I think someone was going to the bathroom like around that time too. I kind of heard someone puttering around in the bathroom straight across the hall from me. So I think I like heard someone moving in the hallway. I thought it was someone intruding in my room. Woke up, saw my fan, thought the fan was someone's face, and just tried to take him out. Just punched my fan across the room. And then I got out of bed, picked it up, put the fan back in front of me, and went back to sleep. That's really all you can do, That was it was a funny moment though. I got a good chuckle to myself. Like, you just fucking punched your fan, Aaron. Yeah. All right. Well, that's one of the topics down. What else we got here? Please no dumping. I was driving to soccer last Sunday, and I actually got my first point in soccer last Sunday. I got my first assist. I play center back, big defenseman, and I went for two runs. One in each period. First one I went for, I choked the finish, like ran all the way, and then I just could not pass the ball. I had good momentum going. I'm pretty fast for a big guy, but then when it came to like stop running and now do something like technical, I could not do that. I can go in a straight line, but to like stop and then creatively pass it to my teammate who can score it, I did not have that in the bag. So I ended up just like running the ball all the way down the field and then just giving it away to the other team. Then I have to run back and play defense, which kind of sucked. But the second time I went for a run, I kind of like just steamrolled the goalie, and then the ball just trickled behind him, and my teammate could kick it in, so I got an assist. So that kind of worked out. But there was just a little sign on one of those with like the median between two roads. And there's one with like a lawn sign that you'd see for the like the elections. That if there was just white and someone in a Sharpie had written "Please no dumping," and then right in front of it there was like a bunch of garbage. And I'm like, there's two scenarios here. One, that garbage was there, and someone came by and put the sign down and did not take the garbage away, which is funny. Or scenario two is the guy put the sign there, took some garbage away, and then someone else came back and dumped again in front of his sign. Just as funny. So that gave me a good hearty chuckle when I was driving by. Guy on porch. There's a guy that sits on his porch down the street from us. He's there all day long. He has a bottle of cola. And I left for work at 5:30 in the morning. He was on the porch. I came back from work at 10 a.m. And guess what? He was still on the porch. That's that whole story. Glad we got that all the way. Should I text? This was something I was thinking to myself. Last night. Not last night. A few nights ago. I don't remember when I wrote this. But I've been trying to be more social and like more conversational, be more conversational, have more conversations, start more conversations, because I just said I suck at it. I don't know how to start a conversation. Like, are you just supposed to like just start talking about something and then just hope the other person is into it? Like, how do you start a conversation? Because usually, here's all that, guys. Usually, I'll like pre-plan the night before. Like, what am I gonna ask this person? What am I going to talk to this person about? Like, I think I came up with like five or six questions for Mayor one day, and then it just ended up going through all of them because we're working in bunkers together. And then I'm like, shit, now I'm out of questions for Mayor. What am I gonna do? So I gotta come up with more. Then I gotta come up with more questions for everybody, and it's really tough. It's really tough. I don't know. Like, can I just like start like whatever thought I'm thinking of? Like lately, I was thinking that like Domino's pizza is better room temperature than it is really hot. That's might be a hot take or a lukewarm take. But yeah, I think Domino's when it has like the runny cheese and like it's not good pizza when it's fresh out of the oven, but you let it cool for a bit, and not even like room temperature. Maybe you let it cool for like 10 or 15 minutes, and that's a way better pizza. Way better when the cheese is kind of like settled and like, yeah, it gets like all the greases in it. Yeah, it's nice cheese. It's not like you're not gonna bite it and pull all the toppings off and all the cheese off. That's the one thing I was thinking about. Like, can I just start that conversation? Like, hey guys, hot take: Domino's pizza is better warm than hot, and then do it like people just jump in and answer that. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. Like, I don't have the confidence to just like dive into a conversation. So I was thinking about that. How like I am getting better, getting more social, talking to more people, and then I was like, maybe I should translate this into like my texting game. Because my texting game is might be the worst in the planet. If you've ever texted me, you probably didn't get a response back, or you got a response back way later. And I'll tell you right now, folks, if you send me a text, I'm reading that text within like 15 seconds. Reading it right away. Now, responding, you're getting either instantly. Some people will get instantly, and that's like a good sign of, we've got good status, or I'm very like, I'm giving you attention. I want attention from you. So you're getting a rapid text back. But if not, it could be like, if you don't get a text back from me within like 3 or 4 hours, you're probably not getting one. Like, I love the message, like the message previews you get on the home screen of your phone or the lock screen. I will usually just be able to read those. Usually just read those. And if I read those, I then like kind of answer in my head, and then I don't end up answering the text because like in my head I've now like concluded. Like someone will ask me a question, then I'm like in my head I'll think of the answer, and they're like, well, solve that problem. Don't need a response. Ethan, back in high school, if you looked at my conversations with Ethan on Facebook, it's like all Ethan on the left side, just 100 messages, and me maybe 1 or 2. Like when I had an iPhone, I just left read receipts on just intentionally because I'm like, I want you to know that I read this and I'm not responding. I want you to know I'm leaving you on read. That's just the kind of guy I am. So I'm like, maybe I need to get better. I need to work my texting game, be more responsive. And also I'm like, can you start text conversations just like you would like a normal conversation? Can I just text? Do people appreciate just getting a text out of the blue that I'm just like, this thought came across my head, and I thought about you when I thought about it, so I thought I'd text you it. Like, do people appreciate that? Or are people like, why are you texting me this garbage, you know? I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I kind of want to become like a more of a texting person, you know? It would help me like, because when I'm like alone here at home right now, I'm just talking to myself. So it would be nice to like have some communication outwards and like have more text coming in. Because when Sarah looked through my phone, I think I've talked about this before, like a year ago, more than a year ago, like almost 2 years ago, which is crazy. Like half my conversation threads were just like automated responses from like Uber Eats and Afterpay and like TD. Like barely any people contacts are actually in my phone. There's way more text coming in from like bots and stuff, which is like, it made me feel really sad that I don't have any friends to text, and like I'm not. And honestly, at first I was like, well, no one's texting me, so why would I text them? It's a two-way street and they're not putting it up. But then I'm like, okay, well, I've also never put in any effort to text people. So like, it's kind of hard for me to say it's everyone else's fault when it's mostly 100% my fault for just being a horrible texter. And that's why no one wants to text me. You know? So let me know. Am I good to just like randomly text people? Is that positive behavior? Do people want that, or people be just infuriated by that? Getting a text from me at like 3 p.m. like, what's the best kind of cheese that goes with salami? You know? Do you think dragons had to brush their teeth? These are not questions I would ever text you. Those are terrible questions, but like, they'd probably be more entertaining, honestly. Especially if I like got a little baked. I get great thoughts when I'm baked. The problem is I write them down and then I read them back when I'm not baked. I'm like, this is nothing. This is stupid. Why did I think this was entertaining when I was baked? But there's gonna be less of that now because I'm smoking less weed. I'm gonna go out of my way, which I just said I was gonna smoke less weed, and then when Chris came back from Oil Springs, he's like, got a mason jar full of fresh grown weed from Oil Springs. Here you go, it's all yours. Because I just finished his Bowmanville weed, so that's gonna toughen it up. But I gave Ethan my THC vape last night before I went to bed, and now I don't know where it is, which is perfect because now if I want it, I have to ask Ethan, and then that's like a whole other step. So I'm just not gonna hit my vape anymore, which is, I think that's a strong solution. Oh, I think that was the last topic. The only thing I had was lying to Will, and I'm just looking at these consent forms again, and I feel bad. I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad. I feel like there's a lot of people are actually like, hey Aaron, how'd the podcast go today? And I'm like, haven't done it yet. And there's a lot of disappointed people, which is kind of like heartwarming, honestly. You got a lot of people looking forward to the podcast on Mondays. That's nice. That's a nice little ego tickler. Just tickle the bottom of my ego right there. That is the spot. Yeah, that's everything I've written down. Everything I've written down my podcast topics. What's in the just my random text notes folder? Let's see what the last big idea I wrote down was in this jokes note folder that's like 50 pages long. Ku Klux Klan, but it's spelled CLUE CLUCKS Klan. There's that was one of the big thoughts. The Ku Klux Klan. There's like a detective ducks or detective chickens or something. They're like, the Ku Klux. I don't know. You guys tell me if that's good. Those are just camping notes. Is it illegal to go missing for like a week? Have I talked about this on the podcast before? But is that like, if I just disappeared, right? I decided to get in my car and just drive to the nowhere in the forest and just camp for like a week. And then, I don't tell anybody what's going on. And then I guess they like call the police and they fire missing person reports, and everyone's like, oh my God, where's Aaron? Aaron's missing. What's going on? Which I hope is what would happen. And it's not like, oh, thank God he's gone, man. We've been trying to ditch that guy for years. But if I just did that, like just went off the radar for like a week, and then there's like a whole police presence and stuff, like search parties are looking for me, and then I just come back, do I get in trouble for that? Like, is that illegal for like wasting police resources? Or is it like I didn't call the cops myself, someone else called the cops. So can I do that? Can I just, not that I'm planning on it, but like, is it illegal to go missing? Just like do you have to tell people like if you're taking a sabbatical, or can you just like dip for a bit and then come back? That's something I was thinking about. There was that movie that with Bryan Cranston, if you guys saw that, where he like goes and lives in the attic above his garage because he just like doesn't want to go home anymore, and just lives there for like a year, just watching his family. That's a weird movie. A weird movie. Someone jerked off a horse once and thought I should keep this. That is again, I don't really write down the context for these things. I don't know what I was watching, but I mean, it's true. Someone jerked off a horse once. It's like, I might be able to use this semen for something. I might have been watching Jackass Forever. There's a lot of stuff with horse semen. So maybe that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, some dude's like just jerking off a horse. He's like, honey, grab me a bottle. What for, dear? I got an idea here. Just stick it in the fridge. Don't drink from the white jar, sweetie. It's not milk. It's not milk colored. Everyone knows semen's more like it's more like cloudy, you know? Kind of like if you mix milk and water, I'd say that's probably more what semen is. Like a really liquidy pancake batter, you know? Something like that. Being stoned with a Panzerite leftover nearby is like being in a Life of Pi boat. That's true. That's true. I remember that night. I ordered Pizza Roma Panzerottis, and I got very baked. And the second you get is a 2-for-1 deal, and the second one was just sitting in the box on my computer chair, and I was lying in bed, and I was like, I could go for it. I could just go for it right now, and I fought it off. And I was like, yeah, it's like that Indian guy sitting in a boat with Life of Pi. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I got anything else for this. This is a shitty episode. I'm just gonna tell this shitty episode, which the episode like 5 or something. I called it not my best work. Ended up being like one of my most listened to episodes. So I think people like when I'm like this episode sucks, and everyone wants to check out why it sucks, and then they just listen to the whole thing. I don't know. I think most of my episodes suck though, so it doesn't say much coming from me. Oh boy, but yeah. Anyways, that's a podcast recorded. That's no great stories this week. Should I tell one story? I can tell the story that I teased last week, I guess. My birthday present. So I was gonna save this for when I had guests on the podcast, but it's been too long. I don't know when I'm gonna have a guest. And sorry, I'm eating a cookie right now. I'm also not in my quiet chair. I'm in my loud chair. So I'm just gonna eat a snack real quick. All right. So the year was 2000. Oh boy. I was turning 21, which would make it 2017. Or I was turning 20 and made it 2016. It was one of those 2 years. And we were living in a townhouse in Waterloo on Churchill Street. And myself, Will Breen, Ethan Myers. Ethan I still live with. Will Breen, Lightning McBreen. You guys know him from earlier in the podcast. We were going to go to a Leaf game, and the Leaf tickets are way too expensive at the ACC. I'm fidgeting again, sorry. So we're looking around for maybe we could go to Buffalo or something, get cheaper tickets. And I think Will had stumbled upon Columbus, had like $70 tickets or something for nosebleeds. I'm like, Columbus is like an 8-hour drive. Like we could easily do that. So we decided to do it. We brought in our other friend. I guess I shouldn't say his name because he did not consent me. His name is Cody, which I've already dropped that name accidentally before, so I feel like it's a freebie. Just happened to work out that way. Yeah, so we had brought our friend Cody, and we got a rental car, and we were driving out of Columbus. And honestly, I can't tell you a ton about it. The drive there, it was fun, you know, because there's like the anticipation of you going to the game. It's like very exciting. And it's like the start of the trip. So the drive there was fine. Everyone had to stay sober because none of us we weren't 21 yet, so we couldn't drink in the States, and we also could not book a hotel because we weren't 25 either. So we were just driving into Columbus. I'm telling this story horribly. We were just driving into Columbus, and we were gonna drive right back after the game. So yeah, we go in, we watch the game. It was all there's not much to say about it. I don't remember the game at all. I remember the pregame briefly, like watching them come on the ice. But if you ask me, I don't remember who won. I don't remember what the score was. I don't remember anything about the game or any of the big goals. But after the game, it's like 10 o'clock. And the first thing I remember is we had to get some food. And so we went for White Castle. I've had White Castle before. And we go in. It's been a long day. We left our house in Waterloo at like 7 a.m. or something, maybe even earlier. And we had stopped for Chick-fil-A for lunch, and this would be like the second thing we're eating all day. So it's like 10 o'clock. It's been hours since we ate. And I'm looking at the menu, and there's too many options, honestly. There's like 25 different combo levels. And I look at one. It's like the family bundle. It's like combo number 21, and it's like 15 sliders, 3 orders of chicken fries, chicken nuggets, 4 drinks, chicken. Like, it was a huge, absolutely huge order. So I go up to the register, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a 21, please. And like Ethan, Will, and Cody are standing behind me, and she's like, okay, perfect, that'll be money. So I pay her the money, and then she like turns around to leave, and I'm like, oh no, that was just my order. Like, these 3 guys are still ordering stuff behind me, and they all get the exact same thing. We all get this 21, just a massive combo. I remember a guy, there's like a teenage guy in the White Castle there talking to his friends, and we just overheard him say, and like, he's like, I remember one time, guys, I was so hungry, I ate a number 4 all by myself. Like, number 4 is like 5 sliders and a chicken fry. Like, it was nothing. This kid was bragging, as we all, just 4 of us, just got family meals all by ourselves. So we got all those White Castles, hopped in the car, and just mucked them as we were driving. I think we had to stop at a parking lot so Will could eat, because Will was driving. Will drove all the way there, and then he's just driving all the way back. He drove the entire time because the rental car was in his name, I guess. So he had to. So yeah, White Castle, honestly, it was a little overrated. It wasn't great. I remember the chicken fries. There was like ranch dusted chicken fries. They had like a ranch powder over it, and it wasn't very good. I didn't enjoy it too much. But we get back on the road after that because we had a long drive home. And Will's very tired. He's like falling asleep at the wheel. Cody, even more tired. Cody was just falling asleep like mid-conversation. He'd wake up and be like, hey guys, so where are we right now? And we're like, well, Cody, where do you think we are? What state do you think we're in? And we're like, Cody's asleep again. He's already out. He woke up, asked a question, and went right back to sleep. And then 5 minutes later, he'd wake up, ask another question, and he'd be asleep before he could answer it. So Cody was just in and out the entire time. Will is fading brutally, so we started doing these air brakes, where we would just like take a minute or two and just put all the windows down and stick our heads out the window to like get that fresh air blasting your face to keep you awake. Will was also driving exclusively with cruise control, so we'd be going fine, and there's always that one asshole that like ruins your cruise control speed after you get it perfectly. So has cranked down on the buttons to slow down, and we're like, are we gonna make it? Are we gonna slow down in time? I don't know. It's just hammering down on the buttons, and then when you got speed back up, you're pushing the buttons back up rather than use the gas pedals, because you got to do something to keep yourself entertained on this 24-hour round trip that we're doing just to go watch the Leafs game. So we're having some air brakes. This is going on, every 15 minutes or so we're taking like a 1-minute air break or something. I don't know, Ethan was in charge of the timer. And after one air break, I'm like, this just wasn't enough for me. So I just keep my window open and just like keep some fresh air coming in, because I want to, it's a stuffy car. You got 4 stinky guys in there. We all just mucked a family-sized meal of White Castle. So there's some fumes going on. There's some fluids. It's not a clean car. So I'm just like staring out the window at the dark highway. Driving through like Pennsylvania or something. And out of the blue, I just get soaked in the face. No idea what's going on until I see Ethan pulling a Wendy's cup back in the window. And that's when I clue in that Ethan peed in that cup earlier. And he just threw that cup of piss right out the window, came right back into my face. Because I guess he thought that the air brake was over, everyone's window was up. And he just absolutely covered me in piss. And this was at 12:30 a.m. on November 1st. This was on my birthday. Did I get a happy birthday yet? No. I just got welcomed into my 20th year of life with a warm cup of piss straight to the face. And then they all start laughing hysterically. They think it's the funniest thing that's ever happened. Will's crying, barely being able to steer the car, and we're swerving all over the place. Ethan's dying. Cody woke up from his sleep just to laugh at me covered in piss, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like screaming, like, was that piss? Was that piss on my face? Oh my God, it's in my mouth. It's in my mouth, it's in my eyes. And then we had to go to a gas station so I could go wash off Ethan's piss from all over me. And that was the probably the worst birthday present I ever had. The trip overall, though, was a great time. Oh, we also got back to our townhouse at like 7 a.m. So it's been like 24 hours. None of us have slept, except for Cody. Slept a lot. And we get there and we found out our roommate that lives in the basement, he didn't come with us. He had locked the door and none of us brought keys. So we then had to go around to the back window. And I was still pretty skinny at this point. I wasn't this hunk, just slab of meat that I am now. And they have to like lift me up so I can like noodle my way through this like tiny little, one of those little tiny square sliding windows that we'd taken all the screens off so we could piss out the windows. So then you had to like, Will had to like lift me up and just I had to like noodle my way through this little tiny window to unlock the front door so that the boys could come in. We all immediately go to bed, and then at like 8 a.m. the contractors come in and start doing work in our kitchen, just hammering away, just making all kinds of ruckus, and just we got no sleep. And that was our first road trip. And we did another Columbus after that, and then we did New Jersey. We've done 2 others. Both of those have some great stories, which if I ever need podcast content again, I guess I can just dive into those. But yeah, that was the time I got a cup of piss thrown in my face. So hopefully that's maybe that story will make up for the rest of this awful podcast, this atrocious piece of media that I'm producing. But either way, I think I've got to get this thing edited in an hour and 20 minutes. So it's going to be down to the wire. And this thing's already almost an hour. So yeah. Thanks guys for listening, to this whole thing. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed it. Will and Allie, I will get you guys some better stories in the next one when I'm less rushed and flustered, but they're coming. I swear they're coming. So thank you for the consent forms. Anyone else wants to send me consent, do so. If anyone wants to get in these text conversations with me, let me know if you consent to getting some text messages, because I got some doozies coming out. But anyways, folks, thank you for listening, and Aaron, out.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.